Me and my fiancé both happen to be into martial arts as well as tabletop RPGs. This has naturally made me think, which martial art would suit each class in the 5th edition of D&D? Now I'm specifically going for unarmed styles, since there's already people much more qualified to be talking about weapon stuff. Go check out Sellsword Arts, Bluminek or Instructor Bensei for that. No affiliation whatsoever, I just like their stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Let's start with Barbarian.
For some, their rage springs from a communion with fierce animal spirits. Others draw from a roiling reservoir of anger at a world full of pain. For every barbarian, rage is a power that fuels not just a battle frenzy, but also uncanny reflexes, resilience, and feats of strength.
Now, the feats that made me choose the art for Barbarian were the following: Rage, Unarmored Defense, Reckless Attack, Fast Movement, Brutal Critical, both Relentless and Persistent Rage, and lastly Primal Champion. Quick explanation for what these do is the following. Rage gives you bonus on damage rolls for strength-based attacks. Unarmored Defense gives you the armor class of 10 plus your dex and con modifiers. Reckless Attack gives you advantage on melee attacks, but in turn attack rolls against you have advantage until next turn. Fast Movement gives you more movement while not in heavy armor. Brutal Critical gives you extra damage die when critical hit with a melee. Relentless Rage and Persistent Rage together makes it harder to die and lets you use Rage until going unconscious. And Primal Champion raises your strength and constitution maximum to 24, so you're like a big beefy boy.
You rage against the dying of the light.
Exactly.
It's that poem, you know.
It's the poem,
Yeah. I'm intellectual. I'm a scholar.
I'm a scholar. I'm a gentleman and a scholar. Okay. I'm just going to go with the primal path of Berserker for the sake of this video. This gives us Frenzy, letting you do melee attack as a bonus action. Mindless Rage gives you immunity to Charm and Frighten. And Intimidating Presence, which lets you, intimidate. And Retaliation, which lets you attack as a reaction against a creature within 5 feet of you who does damage to you. For a barbarian like this, what would be a fitting martial art? Something where your body takes immense damage, cuts, blunt force impact or lashes, and can still keep going, where strength and constitution matter more than technical prowess. I'd say the perfect art for barbarian is Lethwei. Lethwei, also known as Burmese boxing, is a full-contact combat sport from Myanmar, often described as the most brutal martial art in the world. In traditional rules of Lethwei called Yoe Yar rules, there's no scoring system, and fights are only ended when the other person is either knocked out or otherwise unfit to fight anymore. In Lethwei, pretty much every kind of strike is permitted. You can punch, kick, strike with your elbows or knees, or if all else fails, give your opponent a good old headbutt. Fighters only wear hand wraps and shorts. This means the fights end up really brutal and bloody, with both fighters doing their darndest to get that winning blow as soon as possible.
Damn.
my thoughts exactly.
Holy shit! They wanna kill each other!
The practice of Lethwei can be traced at least all the way back to 12th century pagan kingdom, the first Burmese kingdom to unify the modern area of Myanmar, where it was practiced by both nobles as well as common people. But in the city of Bagan, there are carvings on temples that may suggest the practice of Lethwei to be even older, maybe 1,000 years at least, although it's not certain the carvings depict the same sport. The stances and hand gestures look a lot more like wrestling than any striking art, so it might instead be Naban, another style from the modern-day Myanmar, which has more wrestling elements than Lethwei. Feats-wise, Reckless Attack and Fast Movement really fit the kind of Lethwei fighter who charges in without thinking about his safety, and Brutal Critical is exactly what a Lethwei fighter's headbutt would be. Fast Movement without armor and unarmored defense, from the rigorous training and conditioning a Lethwei fighter goes through daily. Do I even need to explain the Intimidating Presence? The idea of a raging beast of a barbarian just tearing through a crowd of bandits with nothing but his wrapped fists, punching arrows and headbutting spears out of the air, blasting shields with their heavily conditioned shins, and viciously elbowing the opponent through their helmet sounds like the most barbarian thing possible, disregarding the damage you sustain in hopes of destroying your opponent as fast as possible and only stopping at victory or death.
If I saw that coming towards me, I would run.
I would piss my pants. Thanks for watching. This was the first in hopefully a longer series of videos on unarmed martial arts for D&D. Let me know what other styles you think would suit a barbarian. Next in the series will be the rogue.
Gasp.
For more martial arts and video game content, sub to the channel and follow us in the socials below. Bye.
Bye bye.